Cellular respiration is, who can tell me what do you know about the word respiration?
The loss of water.
The
Loss of water.
loss of water. No, definitely. Breathing, okay? Breathing has something to do with respiration. Anyone else? Yes, Leano? Okay, the exchange of gases, basically gases exchange. Okay, all right, yes. Takes place at night, respiration. No. Well, it doesn't just only take place at night. It takes place continuously, cellular respiration. Okay? Okay, so yeah, you've given me ideas of what you know about. You've mentioned breathing, okay? Now, I don't know, from like primary school, you guys have learned about the 7 processes of animals.
Yes.
Who can tell me what are the 7 processes of animals?
Growth.
Growth, yes. Excretion. Reproduction. Movement, locomotion. Sensitive, okay, like responding to the environment, like senses, yeah?
Conservation.
Nutrition, like you are, yes? Yeah, basically that's nutrition. Yeah. Okay, doesn't matter if you don't know all of them, it's fine. Okay. The reason why I'm asking you that is because those processes, okay, they all fall under this topic that we're going to look at. Okay. It's called respiration. Now, we just learned about photosynthesis. Okay. Now, photosynthesis, what are the requirements of photosynthesis?
Light.
Okay, radiant energy, light, yeah? Water.
Carbon dioxide.
And carbon dioxide. Okay, and we've learned that what does photosynthesis produce? What are its products?
Oxygen and glucose.
Oxygen and glucose. Remember, oxygen gets released back into the atmosphere in the light-dependent phase, and then the light-independent phase is where what gets made? Glucose. Okay, glucose. Right. Now we're looking at cellular respiration, which is, you can refer to cellular respiration as the usage of the product of photosynthesis. Okay, so the products of photosynthesis, being oxygen and carbon dioxide, will be used in this process. Okay, now think of it this way. You guys know a plant, right? A plant, what does a plant do? What are its metabolic functions? What does it do?
To produce food.
Yeah, besides, okay, yeah, it makes food, right? But besides that, what else? The physical functions of a plant. Okay, it absorbs water by its roots, right?
There's a strong stem.
Yeah, a strong stem, okay, protects. Yes, what else? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so everything that a plant does, right? Everything a plant, whether it's growth, whether it's defending itself against predators, right? All of that requires the usage of what it's making. Okay, a plant can make glucose, so then it will use that glucose in order to perform its metabolic functions. Okay, so whether it is growth, whether it's, we've learned last year that how plants actually grow is with the help of mitosis. Okay, that's how they can actually elongate. The stem can elongate as well as the leaves, right? The reduction of the leaves, stems, and roots, right? So that's what it does. Cellular respiration uses the products of photosynthesis in order to perform the various metabolic functions, and that applies to animals as well. Okay, so if we consume food from a plant, basically we are ingesting the glucose, okay, and we use that glucose in order for us to perform our metabolic functions. Okay, whether that is excretion, whether that is movement. Okay, and we've mentioned all these life processes that we just spoke about. Okay, so that is basically the purpose of cellular respiration, to use the products of photosynthesis. Okay, and at the end of cellular respiration, what's going to be produced? What will be produced at the end of cellular respiration? It's going to be the requirements of photosynthesis, which are carbon dioxide, water, and radiant energy. But in cellular respiration, radiant energy is going to be in the form of ATP. Okay, so then it will be ATP. All right. Yes. Yes. You see, so it's like an inverse, right? Okay, like a reverse, right, of the usage of products, okay, and then the raw materials that all those raw materials that are included. Okay, so that is basically, in summary, that what we're going to be looking at. Okay, cellular and its respiration at a cellular level. Okay, so another example could be that, you know, oxygen, right? We breathe in oxygen. Okay. Now, oxygen is what? It's a product of photosynthesis, isn't it? So that oxygen, we breathe it in, and then it goes into our respiratory tract, which involves our bronchi, our bronchioles, and then eventually these air sacs, tiny air sacs that are wrapped around capillaries. Okay. That's where gases exchange will occur. So then you absorb oxygen molecules will be diffused into our blood vessels, our capillaries, and then our blood becomes oxygenated, right? And then the rest of our body can become oxygenated because we need it for energy, right? If we don't have oxygen, we will die. Okay. And then in turn, gases exchange, carbon dioxide is basically released as a waste product when you breathe out. Okay, so that's one aspect of cellular respiration, the usage of oxygen. Okay, but we're also going to look at the usage of the glucose molecule, or the glucose that's made from photosynthesis. Okay, so that's the important stuff that we need to understand. Okay, so by now we know that all living organisms require energy to live. So in this chapter, we study the process by which this energy is transformed so that organisms can make use of it. Okay? We can make use of those glucose and those oxygen molecules. So again, we've went over some of this terminology, but very important. Okay? Metabolism. What is metabolism?
It's like when you lose the organisms because of the enzymes.
Huh? You see, you guys are reading. I should actually not show you this. But, okay, so metabolism is chemical processes in organisms which are controlled by enzymes. Okay? So, metabolic functions in your body include excretion. Those are all controlled by chemical reactions. Okay? So that is metabolism. And we've looked at how enzymes influence chemical reactions. So they can either be catabolic, meaning catabolic means breaking down, okay, of, for example, if you look at proteins, then they are broken down into their building blocks, which are amino acids, okay. So catabolic is breaking down, okay, with the help of enzymes. And then anabolic is building up with the help of enzymes to ensure chemical reactions occur.
So what's metabolic again?
So, what? Metabolic. So metabolism is when chemical reactions are controlled by enzymes. Okay? Right. So cellular respiration at its core, okay, is the breaking down. It's a chemical process where glucose molecule. Remember when we were doing chemistry of life last year? I showed you guys the structure of glucose and all these chemicals, right? Yes. And then we saw that glucose is a cyclic structure. Okay, so it's a complex cyclic structure. Okay, so that is what respiration is. It's when glucose is broken down gradually. Okay, and it can be in the presence of oxygen, and we refer to that process aerobic. Okay, what is aerobic? Aerobic, presence of oxygen, and then, or it can be anaerobic. Okay, which is without the presence of oxygen. Okay, or the absence of oxygen. So there are chemical processes that can occur in respiration with oxygen or without. And we're going to uncover them. Right? But very important, glucose needs to be broken down gradually. Why? Why does glucose need to be broken down gradually? If you are consuming food, right? The glucose in the food needs to be broken down gradually. Why? Yes, don't they? It's a what? All right, it is a complex molecule, right? Yes. Okay, so why must it be broken down in gradually? How does it affect the organism that needs to break down the glucose molecule gradually? All right, yeah. Okay, so why does, for example, glucose, right, which is a complex molecule, why does it need to be broken down gradually in order for organisms to release energy? Why can't it be all at once? Yeah.
So it's just like basically energy, right? So the plant can't get the animal can't get like energy directly from the sun. It needs to be converted first. So it's
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you're on the right track there, right? Now, remember what I said. Glucose, in what form is glucose stored in animals? Glycogen, right? Okay. Now, if glucose is stored as glycogen, is it used or is it? It's not. It means it's not used, right? If it's stored, it means it's not used. Okay. And when do you use that stored energy?
When your body needs energy
When you need it, isn't it? Yeah, when you need it, then you convert glycogen back into glucose. All right. It's stored when you don't need it, but it becomes active when you need it. Are we together? So that's what I mean. So when they are referring to glucose, okay, glucose needs to be broken down it needs to be broken down gradually, because if it was broken down all at once, right, your body would basically explode, because it would be too much energy that your body is releasing all at once. Then you'll basically explode. Because, listen, very important, because your body only can take it in small amounts, okay? Your body releases energy in small amounts, okay? It can't release energy in large amounts, okay? So that's why it's going to take time to break down that glucose molecule, okay? Because you don't need energy all at once, do you? You don't, okay? You need it in small amounts so that it can cater for various functions in your body, okay? Yeah.
I have a question. Since you say that our body uses small amounts of energy, say for instance our body is consuming food, stuff like that. What does it do with that amount of glucose that it can't take up and convert it into glycogen?
What does it do with that amount of glucose that it can't?
Yeah, like it goes over the limit.
It goes over the limit. Yeah, so then what I said is that if it goes over the limit, then you would be releasing too much energy and then you can die. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Remember, guys, do plants undergo respiration?
Yes.
Yes, they do, right? So from the food that they make, they use their own glucose to make, then they can store it as starch as well. Yeah. Yeah. What is it? Trigger. Well, I mean, energy drinks just improves electrolytic functioning. Okay, so then you have electrolytes that can keep you more alert. Like it's almost like water, but it hydrates you so that you are more alert. Yeah. Huh? Do we? Yes, we do, because remember, as you sleep, you're also performing metabolic functions. You are digesting food like that. Okay, so actually, cellular respiration is a continuous thing that your body does. All right, it does it all the time. Yeah. So it would mean that high amounts of energy will be released. So I'm going to show you guys some experiments of what actually happens. Okay. So basically you would burn out. That's what I'm saying. You'll burn out, and that can cause death. All right, because it's too much energy. Your body can't handle that. Yeah. Are you all together, guys? Yes. All right. So, now what is the importance of this? Okay, so I already mentioned that it is important for all the life processes in animals. Okay, that includes growth, guys. That includes growth, cell division, movement, transport of substances, as well as active transport. Nobody remembers what active transport is. Yes, it's like down to. Yes, it goes against gravity. Good, right? And then diffusion is with the gradient, it goes with gravity, right? So it's like just goes down smoothly from a high concentration to low concentration. Active is, it needs to go against gravity, and it needs to go against a concentration gradient. All right, so that requires energy. You see, that requires energy, active transport, because substances, they need help in order to go from a low concentration to high concentration. Okay, are we together? Yes. All right. So guys, aerobic respiration in the presence of oxygen, and then we have the mitochondrion. Now, the mitochondrion will be the site of cellular respiration. Okay, both in plants and animals. Okay, what was our organelle for photosynthesis? Chloroplast. So now we look at the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion. Okay, and then ATP is not new to us. Nah? Remember it? It's also going to be involved in this process. ATP is an energy carrier. It's an energy carrier.